I always buy enough fabric that I know I'll have enough, and well, as a result, I'm left over with some scraps. I hold on to them because, well, to throw them out would be a shame, and eventually I'll need them for something. Well, over the years, that heap has just kept on building, and I realize that unless I turn these into intentional projects, it's just going to keep growing. So I'm turning this stuff into a pair of pants. Editing Corn, can you show us the inspiration? So I'm going to make them like these type of pants that worker people wear, but I'm going to try to make mine chic because I'm going to use mine probably to go walk in the woods and stuff. Starting off with the back pieces, and I'm going to have this black along the top. The front of the pants at the top is also going to be the same black cotton twill fabric. Now I got to create a straight, consistent line along the bottom of these pieces. So I'm pinning them together to do a test fit. I think I'm going to go all the way up to here because I want to have a little strip of brown, and then I'm going to do knee pad and then brown below again. Draw that out so it looks straight. I am going to transfer these measurements over onto my pattern so that way I know where to cut my other pieces from and trim. This is the little strip of brown in the front, using up every last little bit as close to the edge as possible. This is for the knee pads, and this is a bit of a tougher canvas type fabric, so I think it's perfect for that. Back to the brown one more time for the bottom bit of the front of the pants. I'm hoping to do full brown in the back of the pants, but I do not have a whole lot left, which means I'm going to be patching together all these pieces to make that happen. I am really cutting it close here. Finally, for the bottom here, I'm going to make a series of equal-sized rectangles. And I think that should be enough. Time to patch all these pieces together. I am going to line the inside of the knee patches though, because this fabric is just too harsh. Moving on to the zipper. And full disclosure, part of the reason for making these pants was also just to see if this pattern of mine still fits. So, but these things can have multiple purposes, right? How about here though? Is that too loose? I think maybe I want to go in a touch. And now serge and trim off that excess in one go. And that sorts out my front pockets. I'm finding that things look quite bare in the back of the pants. So I'm putting in these cross stitches to match the knee pad in the front. You know, to make them look intentional. I want to put a cargo pocket on the left side here, but I also want it to match, which means I got to make the top part black and the bottom part beige. Let's see here, which pieces are going to be big enough. If I do that, ooh, but I go sideways. Let's see here for the top bit, like that. Okay, there is literally no fabric to spare here. It is right to the edges. Stitch these two panels together. Ew, seems I'm out of thread here. Alrighty then. One of the things I didn't consider is how much I have to change the thread with top stitching using several different colors. Now the corners, and I simply fold that in half, run a stitch 1/2 inch inwards on that point, snip my edges off like that, snip into that corner, and now I can fold it the other way. Get a nice point going, press it down. Now I layer everything back on itself again. And then for a third time, I fold once more. This is the layer that gets sewn down. The ever delicate act of aligning this thing. The top little bit in black, and then finally a top flap to close up this cargo pocket. There we go. That is my cute little cargo pocket. This has been a lot more work than I've anticipated, but now we can finally put these all together, some back pockets. And as a treat editing corn, why don't we have another ditty while I get this done?
When first, sweet delectable you burst into my life, I hit reverse, backing straight out the door. Disarmed, sweet delectable you charmed your way around my fear and alarm, so I gave it a whirl. Is this really happening, or am I swirling through
The last task is getting a waistband on here. Because I don't have enough scraps, I'm putting this itchy canvas on the outside, and then on the inside is the same fabric I've used for my pocket linings. So these pants have definitely turned out different than what I usually make, but surprisingly actually probably one of my favorites. Well, first off, the fit's great, which is fantastic, but I really enjoy them because of the creativity required to make them and just the amount of effort I put into them. The first bit of creativity was just trying to figure out how to arrange all the different pieces of fabric in a way that made sense for the eye, but then also just making sure that I had enough fabric to make a whole pair of pants. And then there was in the moment creativity. Like I had initially planned on putting those horizontal seams on the knee pad at the front, but then in the moment realized, wait, the back's looking really plain. Let's move them there. And then it creates this nice fun balance between the two. Also the cargo pocket on the side, deciding to make it perfectly match those two colors, I think makes it look interesting. In terms of effort, for starters, I double stitched every seam so that they'd be a little bit stronger and just hold better over time. But then pressed those seams open and did a top stitch on either side. On the inside by the knees, that abrasive canvas fabric ended up folding inwards and was itching my thighs and down the side of the leg. So afterwards, I put in another strip of fabric over top to cover it up. With the back pockets as well, I had enough fabric for one whole one, but then had to piece the other one together. So I ended up trimming the whole one in half to match the other side so that they'd both be consistent. And finally, I did several fittings along the way just to make sure I got them perfect in terms of fit, and I think it shows.